Miles.
Hey Brian, how we doing?
Good. Very serious question to start the show off today. This is
Always.
yeah. I mean, absolutely. Would you rather
Oh God.
punch a baby in the face and have no one ever find out, or not punch a baby in the face and for the rest of your life, everyone you know and meet ever will all think that you punched a baby in the face?
I'm probably the first one just because I've done it before and it's wicked. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely the first one.
I think what most people don't ask quickly enough is which baby. Like, do I get to pick? Because there's a lot of babies out there just fucking asking for it, dude. And like, if I get
Really?
to choose,
Really?
This is a win-win situation. If I get to choose the baby.
Are you working on a new VR game, Brian, by any chance?
Me personally?
Yeah.
No.
No.
But,
Well, trademark that idea.
excellent.
Babypuncher.
Baby
2023 PSVR 2.
It's the sequel to Baby Hands. Now it's
Yeah.
Now
Hands to face, baby hands to baby face.
Babysitter
Yeah.
VR. See how many babies you can punch and get away with.
That is not. This is. I have to admit, Gamecast. This isn't how I expected the show to go today. It'll start today. So this was a surprise.
Sinew in the chat says, "Punch a baby. There need not be an alternative." Dude, listen. Just before we get the show started, we have a new addition to the GameCat army. It's Pacer X's new little kitten, and I'm so happy that we have a picture of this. This is Pickles, the GameCat. Bing! Look how effing cute Pickles is. Looks kind of scared, honestly, but that's, I think, adorable. So cute. All right, you can all ooh and ah as we start the show. You ready to do this, man?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. This is PSVR Gamescast Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Did you hear that? All those words were real words, not made up without parole words.
Monday, you said it. Friday.
Wednesday.
You hold on the two Y's.
For the extra Y, because we all know it's spelled FRYYDAI. We do it live for your viewing pleasure right here, 6 p.m. Eastern, every single one of those days I just listed, right here on YouTube, youtube.com/withoutprogames. And of course, Jay Meow, our good friend, uploads this on podcast services of your choice. So you can listen to this thing at your leisure, whenever it's convenient for you, whenever you need some oral pleasure. My name's Brian Paul from this gentleman right here, PSVR Without Parole. And this gentleman to my far right, he's so far right, he might as well be a Republican. It's Miles Dyer from Miles Dyer Official.
How we doing, Game Cats? Thank you, Brian. It's good to be back. In two ways. Firstly, I have to say, I tuned in Friday night into last week's show. I was at a gig down the coast.
I think we forgot to mention that you weren't here. Like we didn't say why you weren't here. Right. Nothing. We just was like
no.
Yeah.
I had a electronic dance music show to attend to that was on a boat, which was really, really great. And I tuned in. I saw AJ doing a very good British accent, and at first I had to go, what? Wait, I thought I wasn't on it tonight, and it was AJ. So I was very impressed, and honestly, much love to AJ. Appreciate for him stepping in for me, and from that I clearly caught an illness because I've been down with major flu since Monday. Felt like I've been hit by a train, and I was worried it was going to ruin Christmas. But as of today, I feel a lot better, and it must be knowing that it's time for Gamescast Live, because this always makes me feel great. So it's good to be here, feeling better, and ready for the Christmas weekend. Are you celebrating Christmas, Brian, this weekend?
Celebrating or tolerating Christmas? That's sort of what I do for Christmas.
Oh, tolerating. You can yeah. Are you tolerating Christmas this weekend?
I'm tolerating Christmas all weekend long, Miles.
That's awesome. It's good.
Yeah,
Happy tolerating.
Not a fan. I see my family all the time with no stress. Like we get to hang out and like, and eat dinner and drink coffee and like be friends. Like I've become friends with my parents over the years, and of course my brother and his kids and stuff. And like we're all friends. It's fun to hang out with them. You add a holiday to the mix, and it just gets all fucking stressed. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we do this to ourselves? I don't enjoy it. I enjoy doing things on my own time, and then when it's scheduled, I immediately say, "This is the worst thing ever."
Fair enough.
Yeah. Josh Cat in the chat with $4.99 tip says, "Posted my complete PSVR physical collection in Discord under Toys and Collectibles Corner. Interesting. Let me know what I'm missing. Working on a more extensive video." This is awesome. Yeah. Recently, Josh Cat has, over the last few months or so, I guess I'm actually wondering how far back it goes now because I have no concept of time anymore. But Josh has been trying to get a complete physical PSVR collection. And I'm starting to wonder, I'm like, is that going to extend now into PSVR 2? I wonder how that's all going to work. Wondering exactly how many games that entails too. So guys, if you're not already a member of our Discord, make sure you click the link in the description below. I saw that Rody, our awesome moderator, posted a link to the Discord as well. Join the Discord, come hang out. We have these conversations 24/7. It's a great place to hang out. And especially if you don't have anything to do for the weekend, the holidays, there's going to be a lot of other people in the same boat as you who are just looking to kill some time, hang out, shoot the shit, talk in voice chat, or maybe even get a couple multiplayer games together, some VR things happening, or who knows, man, maybe there's some other Fortnite players out there as well. Which there are, because the second I told you motherfuckers, MFFs, right? Motherfuckers forever. That's a thing now. Deal. The second I told you guys I play Fortnite, I got so many epic friend requests that it was like, Epic broke for a minute. That's not true. But I was shocked how many cats out there play Fortnite. It's crazy. Yeah. We got a couple more tips here. We got Dead Ringer, the Game Cat with the $5 tip, says, "My kids are excited for Christmas. I told them that that isn't until February 22nd. I don't think Christmas comes for quite a few people until the launch of PSVR 2 this year. What do you think?
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is officially when Christmas begins.
I mean, what could you possibly want other than a PSVR 2 this year? Are we going to get a real answer or a Miles Dyer official joke answer?
I was actually like a pendulum swinging, going, "What kind of side do I want Brian to give?" Yeah, you're right. I have this kind of feeling of fatigue of I just ready to play it now. But we are not that far away. We have the counter on screen. We are coming up to 60 days. Well, yeah. It's just 60 days and 1 hour for us here in the UK.
Dude, 2 months. 2 months. We've been waiting for this thing for literally 2 years. They announced this thing almost 2 years ago, and we've just been patiently waiting. Also, Aimwell noticed that the Thumper trailer had been playing down below here. I had to change that because of Aimwell. He said, "Did Thumper get confirmed for PSVR 2? Why is the Thumper trailer showing?" That's because it happened to be the last trailer that I showed during last Gamescast, and I didn't update anything for today's show. So there's your answer. I'm sorry. Nothing got confirmed. If anything gets confirmed, there's a breaking news video or it's part of PSVR this week. I try not to make you guys look for news inside of a 2-hour Gamescast. Genetic Blasphemy, although my eyes are failing me, it's Gametic Blasphemy with the $2 tip, says, "Yay, only 60 to 61 days left until our real holiday." Thank you guys very much. Appreciate the support. Mike Blankenhorn with the $10 tip says, "By the time Halloween rolls around, I'm ready for Christmas to be over." I'm with you. And I'm ready for Halloween to be back again. That's why we try to celebrate half Halloween every year. We get to celebrate Halloween every 6 months around here. It's the only way to do it. People do Christmas in July, right? We can do half Halloween.
Half Halloween.
There's a lot of awkward silences on today's show, Miles. I don't know how I feel about the awkward silences.
No awkward silences.
Yeah.
No, nothing awkward about silence.
Yeah. Okay.
Silent Night. You like that song? Silent Night?
No.
What's your favourite carol, Brian? You must have a favourite Christmas carol.
Carol King is my favourite carol.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, man, let's get into today's show. We already told you guys to join Discord, but one of the other reasons to join Discord isn't just to get in on the conversation. It's to be part of this conversation that happens every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. And a great way to do that is by leaving your viewer takeover question in the viewer takeover channel. You guys know you can always interrupt the show with a tip, and we'll read your tip and stop talking about whatever we're talking about to talk about what you want to talk about. But a more affordable way to do that is certainly by doing it ahead of the show in the viewer takeover channel, just like Shades of White Christmas did earlier today, just a little past noon. He writes #viewer takeover. What's the one PSVR 2 announcement that we might plausibly see at Sony's CES press conference that would make you most excited or happy? Now, that's the plausible one. He said, now about which one would be the best, which announcement would be the best for PSVR 2's success. So two questions really here. At Sony CES press conference, what plausible announcement would make you the most excited or happy? And also an announcement that would be the best for PSVR 2's success.
So difficult.
It is.
Because for plausibility and because of what CES is about, I wonder if it would have to be not necessarily a game, but a piece of software that showcases the functionality of the VR. So it could either be a movie offering, a movie app that you're able to be in a virtual cinema watching, the best Sony titles, or a PlayStation Home kind style lobby. For me, if they're going to announce a massive gaming IP title, I can't imagine they would do it there, but maybe I'm misinterpreting the kind of audience that CES gets, because we always see the highlights, but it's always done it's a very business kind of, slide. It's just, here are 5 slides, here are the main features, and then they'll always do a trailer promoting it that is for the mainstream audience elsewhere and online. So it's interesting that there is a lot of focus, it seems, with the thumbnail having PlayStation VR 2 there.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of what they could actually show, again, in the plausible section, I feel it could be just a software piece that's not gaming, but does showcase the power of what their VR headset can do.
The funny thing is that multiple people have pointed out that in that very same thumbnail that you're talking about with the woman wearing the PSVR 2 headset and holding the Sense controllers, the other half of that is the silhouette of a car. Now, that could obviously be Gran Turismo, to be like, hey, we've got this PSVR 2 headset right here. On the other half, it's like, oh, that would be perfect to showcase Gran Turismo. It'd be like, look how powerful this thing is. A perfect CES type thing, right? When you talk about consumer electronics show, you want to be like, look how powerful our electronics are, and show people that there's no degradation here. Like, we put on the headset, and it's not unlike PSVR 1. It's not suddenly blurrier, but really immersive. It's just as sharp and also just as realistic. So I do think that that could be hinting at that, but we also know that PlayStation electronics are just now shoved into random cars, and there's they make a big deal about it, and they've actually talked about that, I believe, at last year's CES. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe the Gran Turismo thing is a stretch. I would say though, to answer the question,
I'd say it's plausible though. A stretch, but it's plausible.
A stretch, but plausible. I agree. I would say for the success of PlayStation VR 2, Grand Theft Auto 5, of course, including Grand Theft Online, that would be the absolute best answer. It's one of the most popular games of the last 3 console generations, and so that would get a lot of people into VR. A plausible thing for me to get me excited, I'm going to remove a little bit of plausibility here, or plausality, or whatever the correct term would be. I still want BioShock VR. What the fuck is going on? There's a new game by the original BioShock team that's coming out, and there's also a new BioShock game that's in development, and a Netflix movie or TV show or something. BioShock is making a huge resurgence right now. And so why wouldn't you want to just saturate the market with all sorts of BioShock stuff and take advantage of that and be like, hey, we just took BioShock from PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360, up-resed it as they already did for the collection, right? And then we shoved it into VR. Here you go.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on the Grand Theft Auto one. You'd kind of want it that the previous speaker to Jim Ryan suddenly just gets shot up and then falls down, and then Jim Ryan comes in doing a drive-by, and then he comes out the car with the VR headset on, and then he's like announcing today, GTA Online, and then the guy on the floor gets up and starts clapping. That'd be amazing. Whether Jim Ryan's going to do it, I don't know, but that could be pretty powerful stuff.
Game Addict Blast Cat for me with the $2 tip says, Miles, the correct answer is Gran Turismo 7. Just want to let you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted.
Noted.
No points for me.
These tips keep rolling in. I don't know if we're going to have time for an actual show today. If we're just going to.
I'm happy to keep giving wrong answers, so they keep correcting via the tips. It's good. It's a good business model.
I think I copied and pasted everyone's here. I'm all caught up. All right. Looper the Underground Game Cat on topic says, I've checked the thumbnail with the €5. Thank you very much. He says, I checked the thumbnail. It looks more like a UFO than a car to me. We're going to have to get into this deeply later, maybe after the show. More like a UFO than a car. What does that even imply? An alien game? No. Alien UFOs don't look like that. Firebird Old School with the 100 Sekiros says, what do you want shipped to your P.O. box next year? Here's a little secret about my P.O. box. I only go like once a year to check on that thing. Like literally until somebody goes, oh, I shipped you something. I like don't even go to the post office box. And I think they only keep things there for 90 days, so I need to actually get there on a regular basis. What do I want shipped to my P.O. box next year? Fucking PSVR 2, man, and I like it there sooner rather than later. Before February 22nd, so I can actually review these games for launch. Other than that, man, the only thing I ever need is coffee. So I am good, but thank you. Markio, the Game Cat Dojo co-leader with the 10 Canadian dollars says, happy holidays, Game Cats. Thank you, Markio. Happy holidays to you. Says, I voted with my wallet when it comes to PSVR 2. I pre-ordered it before I even planned on buying a PS5. We are serious about PSVR 2, Sony. Let's go.
That is incredible.
That's some serious shit right there, right? He's going to have a PSVR 2 with no way to play it for like months.
Yep.
Nice. And then we got Professor Lilith with a $10 tip. What's up, Professor Lilith? Says, this Sunday, we'll choose our games based on who and how many cats come. This is a new way of doing it. It could be Racket Fury. Great choice. Tetris. Great choice. Or, oh, I'm sorry. No, it's not just 3. Star Trek Bridge Crew. Great choice. Wipeout Omega. Great choice. Werewolves Within. Great choice. Or Rec Room, which I know you hate.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
No. Miles loves Rec Room more than he should.
I haven't been on it in a long time, but yeah, you're right.
And Professor Lilith adds that Rec Room requires no PlayStation Plus. It's always nice when free-to-play games, I think it's all free-to-play games, right, don't require Plus. It's a strange thing. It's like, well, this doesn't cost you anything, so we're not going to charge you anything to play it either. It's like,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, which is why so many people play Fortnite, I think.
Werewolves Within. Oh, I need to get involved on Sunday. But I'm going to be at my brother's for Christmas, so I'm not going to be able to make it. But I do need to make sure I work something out on Discord because I want to get back to that game sometime soon.
Yeah.
And it's on the Ubisoft collection on PS5. So if you have PlayStation Premium, is it? I think the medium one, you get the Ubisoft collection. Or is it just the Plus? I think it's the medium tier. Then you can get that game if you haven't already.
Miles, I got to say, you sound sexier when you're sick. Just going to say this. Yeah, it's like a little throatier, a little bit, And it sounds like you've been smoking up a storm over there, and just you've had a long night.
I wish it was that glamorous.
You've hit the voice of a blues singer right now. Very nice, very nice. Also, dude, yeah, shout out to Professor Lilith, man, for keeping. Hey, Tornado's just sleeping. Hold on, let's see if you can. She just decided to take up residence next to me. Like, hey there. Hey.
Aww.
Right. So she's like, pet me. I'm sleeping. Yeah, thank you, Professor Lilith, for continually getting these multiplayer meetups together. If anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, every single Sunday, there are games picked on Discord, and they're usually games that you probably already own that are just sitting in your backlog. Some of them that you've maybe tried or there was no one playing online. This is a great chance to get back in there and play with members of our community, especially things like Werewolves Within, right? Where it's like, or Bridge Crew. You don't want to play those games with randos because you get some like random kid in there yelling, screaming, and you're just like, what is going on? Like, doesn't even feel like playing the game. This is a great, this is a great way to do that. So get on our Discord and join, and make sure you're there on Sunday if you don't have something to do on Christmas. What a great way to spend some time with the cats. All right, is it time for our first news story?
I believe it is, Brian.
Yeah, it is. And we're only 12 minutes late, man. Not too bad. Nice.
Humanity.
Dude, Humanity. Do you remember the announcement of Humanity? This is crazy. Humanity, Oddball Push Square article writes, Oddball PS4, PSVR, Puzzler Humanity delayed once more to 2023. This is...
When was it first announced? Was it on a State of Play?
Yeah.
Or was it...
It was like years ago, man. It was easily 2 years ago. I don't know when it was first announced, but it was easily 2 years ago because it was maybe even 3 years ago because it was supposed to come out, dude, I believe in 2020 and then got pushed to 2022 and now to 2023. I could be wrong about that, but let's check out this article though and see what they have to say. There it is, and interact. I can scroll now. This is by Stephen Talby. Really small text. I apologize. I have to squint. Save for announcing delays, we've heard nothing about Humanity, the upcoming game from Enhanced Games and THA Limited for years. In case you forgot, and we wouldn't blame you, this was announced back in 2019. I'm so glad it's in the article.
And it was a State of Play. It was a State of Play.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was announced for PS4, flat screen, and PSVR, and has you flinging around thousands of little digital people in abstract puzzles. The unusual game is being pushed back once again, though the devs seem a little more confident in 2023. And then here's the tweet from Humanity at Humanity Game. Says, no losing faith now. Humanity is still kicking. We'll be sharing more in 2023, and this time we mean it. The article goes on to say that the above tweet assures us that the team will be sharing more in 2023, and this time we mean it. The studio also asks that fans don't lose faith, which is fair enough, but it's also pretty much vaporware at this point. We're just speculating, as I'm sure we will do the same, Miles, but it seems like a reasonable theory that development of the game, has perhaps shifted to PS5 and PSVR 2. This would go a long way to explain all the delays. Officially, though, the game is still listed for PS4 and PSVR, so we don't want to get too carried away. Hopefully, we'll get that promised update next year then. I don't know, man. First of all, what's your interest level in Humanity? Like, is this something that you've been like just dying to get your hands on, or when there's no news about it, you're like, and that's fine by me. I don't care.
No, I wouldn't. Look, it's somewhere in the middle. I'm not eager. It's not the top of my list of what I want to play at launch with my PSVR 2.
Yeah.
If that was, how it was going to be framed anyway, to begin with. But it was something that I thought looked quirky and interesting, and I would have definitely loved to have given it a go. And funnily enough, having seen this news, it's made me have that same feeling again of, oh, I remember this. Yeah, actually, It is pretty quirky. I actually am looking forward to playing it. And you know what? If we get to experience it with higher fidelity and everything on a PSVR 2 headset, then great. So take as long as it needs to take to make. So I've got no qualms with it being delayed. And yeah, I am looking forward to seeing what it's about. What about you?
Yeah, I think I've gone on record before saying I have zero excitement. Like, it looks interesting, obviously. My guess is that there's a heavy Lemmings vibe here. You've got a bunch of characters, hundreds, if not thousands, and you're trying to get them to the end of the stage, right? I love scenes like this where it looks like a wave shooter, right? You get the blue versus the red, and the blue people are just shooting the red off the ledge. And it's like, well, so is every level you're trying to get the blue people to the end of the stage and avoid the red people or not get shot by the red people? Like, does it add more to the Lemmings formula by doing things like that? And if that's the case, great. But at the same time, I was never a huge fan of Lemmings. Like, I always played the first 30 or 40 stages, and then as soon as like I really started struggling, I'd be like, and and I've had enough of this, right?
Right.
The thing that interested me more than anything is that Enhanced Games wants to publish this. And Enhanced Games is obviously responsible for Res Infinite and Tetris Effect. So I love this joke. It says coming 2020. It's like, oh Jesus, you weren't even close. And so the fact that Enhanced Games made those, made awesome games like Tetris and Tetris Effect Connected and Res Infinite makes you go, well, they have a good eye for this stuff, and they probably have saw something worth publishing here. They weren't just going to like do a favor to somebody. They probably saw something really special in this, and so that's sort of what excites me more than anything else.
Yeah, that sums it up for me as well. Just looking at the full trailer again, that there's a lot going on there. As the bit with the blue people and the red people fighting, it just reminds me of the second Matrix movie when Neo's fighting all the Agent Smiths, and it looks incredible.
That's funny. It reminds me of Twitter.
Yeah. Or Christmas shopping.
Yeah, I don't get that one.
Just absolutely crammed.
I don't know if
it might be more like Black Friday. It'd be more like Black Friday, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Where there's just absolute carnage.
I will tell you that after playing Survive this week and in multiple other PSVR releases, that even Star Tenders and how blurry they are, and just how I kind of just want these games at this point to all be released on PSVR 2, just because I feel like it's just so difficult, man, especially for small teams to get their games looking good and playing good with not only the Move controllers, but also having to run on the OG PS4. I think that's the biggest hurdle, is that the OG PS4 is just really underpowered and wasn't designed for VR. And so a game like Humanity and everything else that was planned to come out for PSVR 1, it's like, you know what, just if your game's going to kind of look like crap on PlayStation VR 1, just cancel those plans, man. Like, right, we'd rather wait, like you said, and get a better game on PSVR 2.
I wonder if a part of the calculation is no one's releasing games on PSVR 1 anymore. So it's wide open. Do you know what I mean? If you release a game now, it's going to have very little competition when people look at what are the newest games. So there's definitely a balancing act there. But I'm totally with you. My mindset for many, many months now has been, I'm just waiting for PSVR 2. I'd be happy if the next game we ever got to see was on that next gen hardware.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's not the case, as we will continue to discuss a bit later.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, do we want nothing to play for the next 2 months? Nothing?
But we don't have nothing. I mean, we have everything that we've had up to now, you know what I mean? We don't need new titles.
Listen, for people just getting their PSVR headset, I'm totally with you. They've got like 6 years of games to play. Anyone who picked up their game in the last couple of years even, they've got a lot of games still to catch up on. I've played everything. I need something new to get me to these last 2 months.
I get that.
Yeah. In the chat, we've got Kawa04 now, the Christmassy game cat. With the 60 plantains. Says Merry Christmas. There's a Christmas tree and a present. You can have the tree. I'll take the present, Miles. Do you have a tree? Do you have a tree?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's all blurry. It just looks like a ball of lights. It could have been a cactus. I would have had no idea.
It could be a cactus. That's why I'm blurring it up. Don't know.
We also got Mark Pringles Leaf in the chat with the £2. Says, "Hey Miles, you got any spare chairs?"
So I actually told Brian about what Mark had done to me on my show on Wednesday. He actually broke me. I have it clipped that I posted on Instagram. I don't think I posted it on Twitter. Could have been clip of the week, actually. At the end of the show, everyone can say what they thought of the show and gives lots of nice thoughts. And Mark does one of two things on the show. He either gives really nice thoughts and support to other, or he tells really bad jokes. I know, me saying that. I love his jokes.
So he's you.
I love his jokes so much that I now have a button on my Stream Deck of the budum every time he tells a joke, because they're just that good, and it's deserving of that. I know Brian wants to get me one from here.
And I thought I was going to tune in, just when I thought it was safe to tune in, you tell me something like that, and I go, well, I guess I'm doing the right thing after all.
Yeah. At the end of the show, he sent a comment and I only read half of it. And then when I put it up, I was in tears of laughter. I actually couldn't speak. And he said, I'm going to probably butcher this. He says, please let me, if anyone is spending Christmas home alone this year, please let me know. I'm looking for some extra chairs. And it was like the best joke ever.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, really good. So thank you for the tip, Mark.
Moving on.
nDreams.
Yeah, holy crap, man! I'm just looking at like how over time we are on our run of show. No surprises though, because that's how we operate here. Yeah, dude. I don't know if anybody saw the news this week, but nDreams. I mean, confirm or deny, Miles, or agree or disagree. nDreams at this point has to be the most rapidly growing VR studio out there.
Yeah, I'm constantly having to recalibrate how I perceive them because they come across as an indie studio. They're so close-knit with the communities that they build their games with. They feel very approachable and they feel very new. And yet they seem to constantly be acquiring, and whether it's acquiring studios or acquiring IP and making brand new titles with huge IP. Yeah, I'm constantly baffled by what they are. I mean, I know they're a VR studio, but they're just doing absolutely incredible things.
Yeah. Well, and this all comes to us because of, man, I was trying to get to the article on nDreams, but instead I accidentally brought up their tweet. Anyway, this all comes because Nearlight joins the nDreams studio family. This acquisition of our long-term partner, the devs behind Shooty Fruity, is an exciting opportunity to work more closely together and focus on a new project. And then there's a bit.ly link that we could totally try to type in and go over to. Actually, can I just type that in? I think it's faster than, I fucking hate everything right now. Cancel. Yeah, you know what? There. We're just going to look at the tweet. That's how it's going to work. Yeah.
I'll get you the link.
Oh, yeah? Oh, man. Thank you. Because nothing seems to be working properly over here, as always.
Here you go. In Discord. Ta-da.
Excellent. I don't know how much more information there is in this article, but we're going to find out together because here it is. All right, man, let's figure this out. I'm going to guarantee this is written by our good friend Jimmy Bowers. It does not say, however. So, but let's read through the article together, and hopefully we can get a little bit of information out of this. It's kind of long-ish, so we're going to kind of blast through it a little bit. It says we're extremely excited to announce our acquisition of Brighton-based studio and a longtime collaborator Nearlight, with a working relationship going back over 5 years. The alignment of between nDreams and Nearlight and our ambition to shape the future of VR and AR gaming make this the perfect partnership. Nearlight developed the nDreams published titles Shooty Fruity and Perfect. So a little really good and a little really disappointing. But to be honest, Miles, I got to say right off the bat here, I actually didn't realize that Shooty Fruity wasn't developed by nDreams. Anytime we talk about nDreams, I list off the things that I know that they developed, but I think I just assumed that they developed that one and they didn't. Also, maybe the same with Perfect as well, because I always looked at their history and said, well, they started with Perfect and that was really rough, but then they went to this and then they went to that and then whatever and ended up at Fract, which was really, really polished, and but wasn't really the case. They weren't doing all this in-house. In addition to recently pioneering an AR experience for one of the world's leading toy brands, the studio is currently developing an unannounced VR title to be published by nDreams. I think that's probably let's go a little bit further with this. I was going to say that's enough, but I think this might be kind of interesting here. Paul Mottram and Ben Heb co-founded Nearlight in 2016, having previously collaborated in key roles at is it Wide Games, Kuju, Brighton, and This is like really, really dark for some reason. It's tough for me to read it on my screen. The pair have worked on a number of innovative titles and championed new ways to play, including games in the iToy Play, SingStar, and Guitar Hero series. So very interesting that these guys are have a place in Sony, and Sony did like weird peripheral type games going back quite a ways.
Yeah.
Because I mean, iToy was super, super niche. We talk about VR being niche. iToy was like super niche. It was like this thing that came out and they tried to make a thing and it just didn't happen. And then like you never heard about iToy like a year later, I think. It was very, very quick.
I loved the game The Eye of Judgment, though, which I may have mentioned on the show before. Do you remember that? The card game?
Yeah, I never played it though. I guess I only played the crappy ones.
It was amazing. It was just a question of could it grow a big enough audience that it was worth collecting the cards again and again. Because for those that don't know, it was you had your iToy and you had this little structure. So it was a stand, so the camera overlooked this sort of. I'm going to say it was 3x3, or maybe it was 4x4 grid. It was like a mat that you place down, and so the camera looks over it, and then you would see the board on the screen, and then when you place cards down, it created actual holograms or 3D models of whatever that card was, and those were actually what were fighting, and you could actually play people online, but you were only playing people with cards that you physically owned. It was really, really great. But very early on, I remember saying to myself, I want to invest in this game, but like most card games, it's going to cost a lot because you have to get booster packs. Let me just give it another month with what I currently have and see where this is going. And unfortunately, it didn't go that far. It didn't seem to be catching on.
Yeah.
But maybe it was because there were millions of players around the world like me that were waiting to see if it was going to catch on with anyone else. But yeah.
Well, maybe hundreds of players around the world.
Yeah.
Right? Which is the problem, I think. I guess it's been a problem with accessories for a long time now. You put out an accessory like iToy.
It was really innovative idea, and those learnings, even from a project that may fail, go on to create successful projects in other areas in future. And so to work with people that have had these experiences with these different peripherals, because again, when it comes to virtual reality, it's not just about creating a game that is playable in VR. It's about understanding the technology. It's why a lot of companies don't just make VR ports of their games, because it's not just like, oh, we've made the game, now let's just do a VR port. They'd have to bring in the expertise of people that have had the experience of building things that work in VR. And VR is very intensive in the development process, because you need it not only to run well, but you need it to be comfortable to experience, and you need it to work with a whole new control system for the most part. So, to have this dev team brought into the fold is going to be really, really great, not just for this unnamed VR project, but for everything else nDreams is working on as well.
Yeah, dude, nDreams is growing so fast. Like you said, it's tough to kind of figure out where they're at right now. Because I think a lot of teams have said, hey, we want to make AAA VR games. Teams that so far haven't proven that they're able to, right? And then they, what is it, Studio Elevation they opened up? That's their AAA studio. And we're like, well, yeah, I guess we'll see, right? We can almost guarantee that that's for PC VR and PSVR 2 games specifically, right? That is what that studio exists for. But like, it's untested. We have no idea. But then seeing that they're just so committed to VR and they just keep, this is what their fourth studio or something. It's ridiculous. It's kind of crazy. So all the best to everybody at nDreams, and we can't wait to see what you've got. I can only imagine that we're going to be seeing a ton of nDreams titles over the next generation, with 4 studios working on stuff constantly. It's going to be great. So, Pervert Cat says, wondering if nDreams had anything to do with Kung Fu Live on PS3. Bloody loved that game with homemade nunchucks. Is Kung Fu Live, Berber Cat, the one that tried to like be a Kinect game on the PlayStation 3, where like you actually saw yourself on the screen, and it tried to green screen your background out. You just had to punch and kick like from a side perspective, and so you're just
I
kind
remember
of
that.
doing this in like there's
Wasn't that a mini game though? Yeah, wasn't it a mini game?
it was a full download. Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking of something else.
I'm thinking it must have been really cheap. I mean, it was probably like less than $10 or something. But like, yeah, it's like this horrible cutout of you with like, most of your background still there, and you're just doing awful kicks and punches.
But wasn't there an iToy game that had or maybe it was a full game, but wasn't there one where you're cleaning windows?
Yeah, wasn't that like Start the Party or something? Wasn't that like one of the
Maybe
mini games?
because I felt that was it because there was a round on it where you're fighting things from all. Yeah, it's projecting you on the TV and you're punching things coming from
That might
all
have
sides.
that might have been Start the Party, and for a one player at a time party game, I really enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun. My dad and I actually played that quite a bit, and I was like way too old for that game when it came out. I didn't care. I was like, I love this the AR. Look, I'm on the screen, and then I was like, then suddenly lost interest in AR. Dan Kiefer says, I know the makers of Dreams made Ragdoll. You know what? This is not helping anything. Okay. Thanks for the input. You guys are awesome. Solid Justice says, not Start the Party. So you're thinking, you and I
iToy Play included Wishy Washy. Solid Justice said, yeah.
Oh, so because iToy was PS2, right? PlayStation 2? Because I'm thinking of all PS3 games right now. When
iToy Play.
When they integrated it with the moves and everything. But, all right.
Yeah, I'm remembering now because it came with, a lot of games. It was Beat Freak, Wishy Washy, Soccer Craze, a keepy uppy style game where the player must keep knocking the ball with their head.
He said it. He said keepy uppies. It's the second time I've heard keepy uppies this year. I had no idea this was a thing until this year. Now I can't stop hearing it.
Kung Fu was a whack-a-mole style game, UFO Juggler, Slapstream, Plate Spinner. I remember that. We had to keep spinning the plates. Yeah. Disco Stars. We had to copy a dancer. Yeah, you had to like hit the icons as they came down. Ghost Elimination. We had to defend a graveyard from ghosts and bats because of course. Yeah. Mirror Time.
I don't remember which iToy game I had, but I had an iToy on PS2. I don't remember which game it was that I got that with or got it for.
I remember the box art as well. Just seeing it now, it's just memories, man. That came out in 2003.
Right on. And I think we got to move on, sadly, away from our nostalgic memories of yesteryear, and jump back about 2 days when developer Candy Makers announced their game Survive, spelled SURV1V3, is coming to PlayStation VR 1 in literally 2 days. That brings us up to the present. That's today. Wes and I on Wednesday were speculating on what this would mean for PSVR, and because the version on Steam on PC supports up to 4 players, and is actually has a really long campaign. And as Wes was saying, the multiplayer has some issues on Steam, and it's also a little bit janky. So we kind of prepared ourselves for the worst, and then we played it when it came out, and I don't think we were prepared. This game definitely has its issues, but also there's a lot of good things to say about it too. So if it does sound like we're getting super crazy negative about it, just stay tuned, because there's a lot of pluses and a lot of minuses. So Miles, you get a chance to play this today. What were your first impressions?
I was really excited when I saw this was coming to PSVR. I hadn't known anything of the game prior to that announcement, with its PC version. And jumping in, I knew from seeing your first reaction stream that the tutorial was quite long. I kind of skipped throughout your live stream just because I wanted to experience it for myself. And the tutorial is quite long, but I was really impressed with the home sort of menu environment, and then the tutorial environment. Although it kind of is a very linear path. It pushes you down this one route. It feels like a very realized environment. It feels like a real world that you're in. And the fact that there is no HUD at all is really great. I actually really like it, to the point that when you're shooting weapons, just to give you a specific example, you realize, okay, I'm going to have to start counting the bullets with the handgun that I'm shooting so I know when I'm going to have to reload. Because there's nothing worse than going up to a zombie or a couple of them and then realizing that, oh, I need to now, change the magazine, and you have to actually eject the magazine, put a new one in, cock it. It's slightly blurry. I think when looking at text and that, you have to get quite close to it before it renders. I think it is a rendering issue, because I actually was going up to certain things and then stepping forward and back just to see how close I could get. So there's definitely a lot of room for optimization. But then when it comes to the actual main game, I've played a bit of the first main mission. To be honest, I'm a bit stuck and I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I've got into a house and now I'm walking around wondering where I'm meant to get this gas canister, which you can probably help me with afterwards, Brian. I'm really excited to explore this world more. But ultimately, I like the social element of VR games, and the thing that really interested me was that there is a co-op mode. And obviously, when I joined earlier, downloaded it earlier and played it, you and I were hopefully going to, we planned to, squad up. And it didn't happen, did it, Brian?
Didn't happen. We actually had, over the course of today, I've now spent hours trying to get multiplayer working. It seems like it's not working for anybody. Over on their Discord, there's a couple other people who are also experiencing the same problem. I think some people are just trying to join random games or see a list of games of people who are playing, and it's like, well, you can always explain that away by saying, well, no one's playing other than me. But when you and I were both in simultaneously trying to invite each other into our game, and then you can't even do it through the PlayStation itself. You and I kept trying to invite each other to a game, and it would say, you want to invite him to Fortnite? And it was like, no, the game
your previous games. Yeah.
The game we're actually in right now, not the previous game. Like, why is this even an issue? It was like PlayStation wasn't even recognizing that we were both playing Survive.
It looks like that the game hasn't got session, like a multiplayer session functionality set up. Yeah. So the PlayStation doesn't recognize that you have a session to join, because when you try and join, if you try and refresh the sort of the public list of multiplayer sessions, it just says failed, can't find any, refresh and try again. Right. But then when you click to join a random one, the same thing happens. So I just feel that there's an issue with the port. But then did Wes mention that this is also an issue on another platform as well?
Yeah, so on Wednesday's show, before we even knew that there were going to be problems with the PlayStation VR version, Wes had said that multiplayer was an issue on Steam as well, like that he and his friends could be in the game and they couldn't see each other playing, which was the exact same experience that you and I had today. But then strangely enough, other people that they weren't trying to meet up with could see that they were playing, enjoying their game. Right. And so Wes actually had somebody jump into his game and be like, hey, check this out. I've played this before, and like showed him the ropes and showed him all a bunch of cool stuff you could do. And he was like, oh, okay, well, this works. At least I get to play with somebody, even if it's not the people I intended on playing with. Right. And so this launched on PSVR with two-player co-op option. And then, of course, that option doesn't seem to be working for anybody, which is a real shame, because I do think that this game has a lot of problems. You mentioned that there's no HUD, and I actually think, to a point, it's to the detriment of the game that it doesn't have a HUD. Because there's so much going on in Survive that at a certain point you're like, man, I need some fucking help, right? Like I need an in-game menu that I can bring up and just make some changes. And there is a tablet that you can grab out of your backpack, but it doesn't have all the options that I need, right? And then there's so much that you're doing at one time. Sometimes you're carrying a gas can, and you're also fending off zombies, but you also have to figure out where you're going, right? And so you need like three hands, right? Because you need one holding the tablet with the map on it and saying, which way am I supposed to be going? And then you need another one with a gun or a baseball bat or something, and then another one to carry the gas canister. And and these zombies are just relentless, man. Like I will clear out an area and then they'll just like respawn like out of the darkness and come on in. And unlike you, man, I think that this is way too blurry. This game there's a lot of variety in the environments, but I also I think it's got an interesting level of detail going on. Like I found a little chapel in the graveyard, and I walked in and I was like, this looks really nice. If it wasn't for this like smear of Vaseline in front of my eyes, right? There's a lot of little details going on. And so it's really, so for every cool thing that happened, there was something that pulled me out of it. And also I think the interface is so clunky. Trying to bring up your inventory by reaching over your shoulder and pulling the trigger. It's sort of the Saints and Sinners thing, right? Where you like reach over and you like pull out your backpack, except you just reach over and you click the trigger or the move button. I can't remember because they're so used so interchangeably in this game.
Yes, they are.
And that just appears in front of you, and so you can grab things out of it, but you can't put things into it, right? You have to put something behind your back and drop it and hope to hear the sound that it could put in your backpack and not just fall on the floor, which is
sometimes I can't work out how many magazines I can carry for each weapon. You'd have to keep checking your bag again.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other little issues. Like one of them is, for me, I found there's a lot of times where the sound, sometimes it sounds like there's someone behind me when they're not. They're like, and they're in front of me. It seems like that just as I'm approaching something, a zombie, before I even reached it, it's already now flipped its sound behind me, which is obviously disorientating in a game where you don't have a HUD and you have to really rely on your senses. The lack of HUD, I only had, and again, I'm not that far into the main game. The only issue I had with it was when I went into the tutorial, because in the tutorial you start off and there are burnt out cars around you, and I was literally panicking, going, right, I'm opening the doors, like where can I find a gun? Because you see these zombies which can't get to you because they're behind barriers, but you don't know that when you first spawn in. And what you're actually supposed to do is just keep walking down the road until you get to the first sign. Right. I feel like there should be a sign to begin with to tell you for a tutorial where to go, because I could have spent a very long time in just that area. The whole point of a tutorial is to teach you the controls. And so before even knowing the controls, kind of, you're just sort of stuck there. But the other thing you mentioned about there being no HUD and you have all these things that you need to do. Yeah. I think that's why this game lends itself to being a multiplayer thing, because it's like, in a team, one of you, does have to get the pad out and you're the person with the map saying we have to go this way. Right. Someone is carrying the objective. It's only 2-player on PSVR once it's fully working. But if it was a 4-player game, then you have someone who is, maybe with weapons up the front and someone's at the back. And that really excites me. I'm actually really excited to play this game multiplayer. I have to admit, single player so far hasn't sort of brought me in yet. I've still got a lot to learn, and I feel that I haven't fully grasped the controls yet, because the amount of times I'm dropping stuff and then having to press which one's the crouch button to then pick it up off the floor again. Yep. And then there's a lot of times where I've got zombies around me and I click to eject. I want to eject the magazine and then put a new mag in, and I accidentally drop the gun, and the whole panic thing happens. I kind of feel that when the zombies attack you as well, you don't really get a sense of it until they've really injured you, and then the screen starts going red. Then you do.
That was a big issue with me too. It was too little, too late.
Which on the one hand you're like, well, that kind of works because it means that you need to be aware, but it's like, no, but if there's no HUD, you should feel impact. There should be something to really, like, you got hit. Like, there's some zombie games that when they come from behind you, you know it, you sort of feel it.
Yep.
And it needs more of that as well. But again, I have a lot of criticisms about the game and things that need to be tweaked. But overall, I'm actually really impressed with what I've seen so far. And After the Fall was a game that I was really excited for with co-op, and I was incredibly disappointed. I think this could end up being the flip, where I sort of came in cautiously. It's not working right now, but when it does work, it could end up being an incredible open world zombie game, because it is an open world game, right? Yeah, like you're.
I mean, it's open maps, right? The maps feel
Yeah.
pretty open, and that's something I want to point out here is that, like, strangely, we've had PSVR for over 6 years now, and this is the first time I've ever played a game like this on PSVR, right? So you go through the tutorial, and it really does funnel you through the entire thing. It's just like, no matter what it looks like, there's only one way to go, and it's just kind of, and you're just like, oh, the road's barricaded here, so that means, oh, okay, well, it's open over here through the woods, and there's only one way to go. It's a pretty small corridor, and I was like, is this going to be like, because the PlayStation Store advertises 18 hours of story campaign, and I'm like, is this going to be 18 hours of funneling me through different areas and maps and stuff? And in fact, it's quite the opposite. Once you get to the first mission, the first actual mission, you set out from the safe house or the gun, wherever, what's that? The gun house. It's like just fucking stocked to the gills with guns. And then you head out and you can kind of do whatever you want to do, right? There's a mission, obviously, but there's a big map and there are houses and if that light is on the house, apparently you can just grab the drills. There's drills kind of everywhere. You should just kind of carry one with you, though. You can drill out the locks and then go into the house and explore and like kind of like scavenge for better weapons and weapon attachments and ammo and items. And there's just, it just feels like a fully realized game in concept, right? And so then you head out of that house and you realize I didn't even have to go there. That was totally optional, right? And then there's safe houses that where your game saves, and there's a few extra supplies. There's like first aid spray, and and then of course there's the mission. As you can see, my map is on the screen right now, and I'm holding it with one hand, and I've got a pistol in the other hand, and it all goes horribly because I have to keep putting one or the other down. It's kind of a mess, but you're kind of sent back and forth on this map. And I don't know if you felt this way too, Miles, but after a little while I started feeling like, oh, this is like, it kind of feels like I'm in Silent Hill 1 on the PlayStation 1, because there's all this fog everywhere and everything's deserted, and then and I keep hearing noises. It feels basic like Silent Hill 1, but it feels just as like mysterious as Silent Hill 1. You're like, what's around the next corner? What do they have in store for me? And so there's a little element of that I started to really enjoy in learning the map on top of it, right? Because learning the map is like, once you can get rid of that thing in your hand, that tablet, and actually use both of your hands, like maybe you have a bat in one hand and a pistol in the other, then like you're way better off. And so if you can just look at it and go, oh, that's my destination, then never have to look at it again until you get there, amazingly beneficial. So there's a part of that like I'm looking forward to learning and like getting better at this game and kind of working around its downfalls in order to find the enjoyment in it. So I am excited about that.
I love the Silent Hill comment, because that was one of my thoughts when playing the first main mission. Was I feel like I'm in a classic PS1, PS2 title, and I really like this for that reason. DTB said in the chat, based on what I was saying earlier in the tutorial, he actually said it more specifically, but I thought it wasn't that ridiculous, but it turns out it was. And it was that the sign that tells you how to walk, you need to walk down the road to it. So that I thought that was the case, but I didn't want to say it in case. I was like, no, I don't think it was that ridiculous. No, you do. You have to walk down to the sign that then tells you how to walk in the game. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So a couple concerns, right? Obviously, the interactions are janky and things get kind of messy. And you can see the melee combat isn't fantastic here. The multiplayer is apparently like just not working at all right now. So keep that in mind if you plan on buying it. It's a $25 game. It's made by two people. And I think very interestingly, Miles, we've got a few more things to talk about in regards to Survive specifically, but or seek Christmas delayed till February 23. The Game Cat. He asked a viewer takeover question that I think is extremely pertinent. He says, we know that Survive was made by two people, which made us indulgent, but in the end, it's a $25 game listed on the store. Should you take the size or weight of the studio, indie or AAA, into account when you review the game, or even when you talk about it, or you should just compare it to other $25 games? Like, So and I got to say, man, I saw more than one person in the comments of my live stream yesterday post, people need to stop being so negative about this game. It's made by only 2 people. Do you think it matters that it was made by only 2 people? Like, do you think a majority of the people out there, Miles, care what the development team consists of? If it's 100 people or 2 people, don't most people, because most people aren't like us, right? Most people don't care about the people behind the games. Most people care about, hey, you took my money, and in return, I want a good game.
If this was a Dreams creation or some free platform where 2 people had made this, then I would say that has a lot more credence to being nice. If it's just 2 people, but as soon as you put it out on a platform and it's being sold, now it's you're open to all criticism because it's now a product. So yeah, I feel that yes, the fact that 2 people have made this is incredible. This is actually a common theme that we're seeing again and again in the gaming industry, that there are lots of indie studios that turn out to be individual studios, like just single people that are creating games now. The pricing thing, I mean, we've spoken about this on previous shows about whether or not price should be factored into reviews, and my belief has always been it shouldn't taint the review in the sense of what the narrative is, like as you're giving the review, but it should of course be a factor in it, because if it's like a $100 game at the end, then you go, yeah, it's not worth spending that amount of money for it. That is a factor. You are reviewing a game to say, is it good, and is it worth it's about, is it worth your time, and is it worth your money?
Right.
Those are the 2 things that you're going to be doing. You're investing money to obtain it, and then you're investing your time to play it and engage with it, when you could be engaging with other games and actually, on the money part, paying for other games as well.
True.
So I think it's completely fair. The thing I would say, though, is on the flip side, I think it's totally fair to say, if you thought this game was mediocre, or if it was a AAA company that did it, you go, nah, screw them. They don't deserve my $25. You could make the argument saying, okay, it wasn't the best game, but 2 people made it, and I'd like to see what they could do. Like, I'm still glad I paid for it, because I want to see what they can do next, because there's a lot of good stuff here. And by the way, as I'm explaining this, I'm not talking about this game specifically now, because I think there's a lot of good to this game, and I've barely scratched the surface of it yet, and I'm excited to jump back in, especially once the multiplayer's done. I hope the devs give it an update on that soon. But they're fair criticisms, but I do think that it's a level playing field as soon as you're putting a game out there that's been sold. But at the same time, it's definitely something worth considering.
I agree. I think that a 2-person dev team gives us a reason to wow at something that's amazing. We go, wow, if Survive came out and it was just absolutely polished, and we were like, and we didn't have all these complaints, and multiplayer worked right out of the gate, we would have been like, wow, 2 people did this? That's crazy. It gives you an excuse to wow. But unfortunately, it doesn't give you a pass when something's done poorly, right? I don't think we go, oh, well, don't worry, it was only made by 2 people, so we have to give it a pass, because look, what did we possibly expect? Like, I wowed at Separation, which was like an open world game made by Martin over at Recluse Industries. 1 person, like, he didn't outsource anything as far as I can tell. He did all the art, he did all the environments, he did all of the music, right? Like, he's a pretty renowned musician, and he did all the music for his game. And I was like, you could have told me 20 people made that game, and I still would have given it the same score. I would have been like, wow, this was amazing. It made me feel something, and I thought it was beautiful, and it sounded great. And so yeah, and then when I found out it was like just 1 dude the whole time toiling away, I was like, this is even more remarkable because of that, because of his accomplishment.
And just off that, Brian, I wanted to say that, this was a game that once it was announced, I thought next week after Christmas, I'm probably going to buy it. I was going to speak to you on the show today to get your thoughts on it, in addition to the live stream you did, because my friend Johnny, that I do a lot of VR gaming with, is thinking of getting it as well. And then Brian messaged me earlier, and as I was having that conversation with Johnny and said, are you going to be playing it? Do you want to talk about it on the show tonight? And I was like, oh, yeah, well, let's do the co-op. You up for it? And you were like, yeah. So I bought the game. Then it wasn't working, the multiplayer. Then I thought, from what I read online, I need to complete the tutorial. So Brian then headed off to charge his controllers. I played the tutorial, which was a good 30, 40 minutes. And then Brian came back on and it was still not working. Now, look, I don't mind because I am going to keep playing this. But from a consumer perspective, I bought the game to play it with Brian, who'd bought the game. So that's 2 copies of the game bought. And
we're not getting what we wanted out of it yet.
Yeah. And if you got 2 people that have bought it to play together. So like if me and my friend Johnny had bought it, and actually the joke I made to him beforehand was, you know what, don't buy it yet. Let me and Brian play it because it's better one of us wasting our money than 2 of us if it's no good.
Exactly.
And actually, funny enough, yeah, I was actually right in the sense because the reason he would have been getting it is so we could play it together. And you can always say, well, you can play it for single player and then play it co-op when it finally comes out. For me personally, I would rather experience the main campaign for the first time with friends.
Yeah.
I find something magical about that of like, yeah, okay, doing it single player, it's a different experience from when you do it again. But the idea of discovering it with friends together, I think is a really cool dynamic. And that's something that I want to do. So I'm actually going to be putting my foot down on this game, I think, on the brake as opposed to the accelerator until they fix that, because that's how I want to experience it. I want to team up with someone and explore this world with them and work out what there is to work out.
Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed VR Demon in the chat here. What's up, VR Demon, by the way, and in the comment section of our recent videos. He's gone to bat for Candy Makers because he's been playing this game and following it for a long time over on Steam. It's been in early access for a long time, and it's, I believe it's out of early access now. I could be wrong, but saying that Candy Makers constantly improves their games, and like so he's pretty confident that they're going to get everything working and fix a lot of the jank that's going on. Now, I'm not going to waste my time playing any more of this game, I don't think, right now, because if they do get the multiplayer working, they fix a lot of the jank. Thing is, it's like we just had a whole episode explaining why maybe you shouldn't be buying this game right now, but also maybe why you should if an improvement comes, if we get patches. The only reason I'd be tempted to disagree with VR Demon is because when you see that no one bought your game, it's very easy to say, well, why are we going to spend more money to improve it, right? On a platform where nobody purchased it. And so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the upgrades come on a PSVR 2 version or something along those lines. I'll be very, very curious to see, and I will be following this very, very closely to find out how this works out. I've been in contact with developers. They actually sent me 2 keys after we already bought it, Miles, and so I passed those along to AJ and then Wes if he needs it. And so hopefully this conversation will continue to happen. And once multiplayer gets implemented, we'll definitely come back to this and hopefully review it, man. I just don't want to spend the next 18 hours of my life playing Survive in a janky format by myself. When I'm with you, Miles, I feel like this game would be so much more enjoyable in multiplayer. And I think it would help us overlook some of the things. We didn't even mention, man, there's no aim support. And for anybody who is waiting for aim support, that's not going to happen, right? This game is so too hands-on, right? There's just no way that they could ever make aim support work in this. And then on top of that, there's no strafe buttons. That needs to be fixed because I'm constantly looking over here going, I need to go over there. But then looking over this way so I can walk this way just to turn this way. Like I'm operating a forklift or something. It feels like tank controls on PS1. And so I need some strafe buttons. If anybody from Candy Makers is listening, please, for the love of God.
Can I say though that I often don't like double-handed weapons with the Move controllers because of the tracking.
Yeah.
From what I've played on this, it feels amazing.
Yeah.
And the guns themselves, after you've done the tutorial, you're in a room with all the weapons you could possibly want on the walls, and you just take what you want and go out there. And they all feel different. They feel really good. They have a little toggle on them, so if you want single fire or burst fire. The submachine gun I was using, absolutely amazing. And then a small detail, but I loved it with this, was when in the tutorial with the pistol, a bit like Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead, you know, always see him shooting them point blank, and you're like, I totally get. It was the first time I played a zombie game where I totally connected with his character. I was like, I totally get why he does it now, because you want every bullet to hit. And I was going up to the zombies, and there was some where they're wearing helmets and they're really hard to hit because it keeps bouncing off their armor. And so what I found was going up to them and like putting it under their jaw and shooting, and it would take them out instantly. And it was like a small detail that I've never, and again, it might be that I'm misremembering or not remembering. But that was a detail that I thought was really great with this as well. So the weapons are awesome. Melee, I'm not digging at the moment. I'm still not entirely sure I know how to keep them holstered. There's a bit in the tutorial where you've got to sort of you've got swinging zombies. You've got to hit them with an axe.
Yeah,
I
think the big melee weapons go behind your back. The two-handed weapons go on your chest, and then you've got slots for 2 pistols on your side. I think that's all of them, right?
Yeah. So there's a little things there, but like the gunplay, again, to be playing that with friends is going to be amazing. Sort of just going down the streets with them. But the weapons and the different fire modes. Oh, and weapon customization, like really cool. You pick up manuals and then you add it and you see whether it's a light or a sight, and then you can remove them as well. Really, really cool. So I've been really impressed with the weaponry in it. As Brian mentioned, use a drill to drill open doors that are locked. Obviously, you can shoot some padlocks when they're there, the spray, and also you can douse yourself with horrible stuff, and then you walk around slowly like a zombie, so they don't detect you. The flashlight. Do you have to hold that? Or can you actually put? I don't think you can.
I have not found a way. I think I was talking to Tatum today too. Awesome Tatum, what's up in the chat? Also purchased this game, hoping to be able to play it with friends. No go. He experienced all the same issues that we did. So these are not isolated incidences. It's like the first thing you do in a flashlight in a VR game is you try to like put it in your pocket or something, right? So that it just or whatever. So it's just there and shining for you. The last thing you need in this game is something else to hold. It's nice when you get the little flashlight attachments, right, for the pistols, for the handguns, and you're like, oh, this is great because now it's 2 things in one, right? Now I need to find a way to attach that tablet to a shovel, and then I'll be fucking great. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that would be. I liked it when you pick up the walkie-talkie at the beginning, the radio, and you strap it to yourself, and then you can hear them talking to you again. The lack of HUD, I think, if they fix a lot of the issues, I think is going to be actually it's one of those things where yes, there are going to be some people that never like the fact that there is absolutely no HUD, and that's absolutely fine because that's a totally fine criticism to have. But I think that it's going to be one of those games that once you get into it and when it's working fully, once it's working the way it should, you're going to thrive on the challenge that it provides and realize, okay, this is how the game wants to make me feel. And again, if you're playing with friends where someone can hold the tablet and the map and check that while someone else is covering your back, that's great. Because we were having it where when we were in party chat and we were trying to add each other, you were going, all right, I've just got to take care of this zombie first, Miles. You're like, okay, done. And then as you were trying to invite me, like, oh, sorry, I'm going to have to do it again because I've just been killed by a zombie. Like, that is the dangerous world of zombie apocalypse. But without having the HUD, and again, I understand you don't want there to be a pause menu. I think it works once you're set up in there, but the whole point was we couldn't set it up at all.
Why couldn't that be done from the main menu? Like,
should be able to meet up in the hub, but maybe you can. It's just that we assumed you couldn't because that hadn't worked, and it turns out it doesn't work anywhere.
Anyway, yeah. So a lot of cats in the chat are like, "Man, you're spending a lot of time talking about a bad game." We just wanted to like let you know that there's
It's not a bad. It's not a bad game.
What's funny is that Wes said on Wednesday's show that this game just has so much potential, like even over on Steam, and I guess I didn't really understand what he meant until I went hands on with the PSVR version, which is obviously a downgrade from the PC VR version. It has so much potential, and I really, really hope for all the PSVR 1 gamers out there, people who aren't planning on upgrade to PSVR 2, that this game gets the attention and the love it deserves on this platform, not just do the thing where it's like, oh, don't worry, we'll take care of you when you upgrade to the PSVR 2 version. No, like, there's people who bought this game and are severely disappointed now. So hopefully these guys can make this work for them and us. And once it's fixed, we'll definitely review it. Until then, to heed my warning. Wait for a patch. Not even wait for a sale. Wait for it to be patched. That's the important thing here. All right, man. We got to move along. It is time for... Dude, let's talk about some tips before we get to 20 questions, because we pushed these off until the end of the conversation. Dead Ringer, the Game Cat with the $5 tip, says, I'm sure you already know this. I don't know anything. But this is our favorite YouTube channel. He said, our. Who else do you think he's referring to? Do you think he means like Little Ringer? Like his kid? So psyched to enter chapter 2 of the journey with all of you. Dude, I feel like this is chapter like 7. and for a little while last year, it felt like chapter 11, which is a bankruptcy term in the States here, Miles. Because, dude, I mean, if people who've been with this channel for a long time, man, like knew that there's so many different phases we went through, so many different iterations of Without Parole. Started with... What the fuck did it start with? It started with me and Mike Zeller talking about retro games, and then it moved on to me and Jeremy King and Michelle Varacchione, talking about just every video games. Then it moved on to, just VR, and Des joined, and I mean, and then all those people faded away, and then it was just me and AJ and Dave, and then it was not me, AJ and Dave anymore. It's me, Miles, and AJ, and who's the other guy, Wes. There's so many people; it's hard to keep track, and there's been so much comedy and quite a bit of tragedy along the way, and it's just been amazing that we've kind of gone through it together. Like I see so many names in the chat that have been with us through all of those things. Some people joined long after the Mike Zeller days. Some people joined long after the Michelle days, but some people have been around the whole time. And it's been kind of crazy just to kind of see all this evolve. And thank you, Dead Ringer, and everybody else, of course. Just been an amazing journey. And for this to be chapter 2, man, chapter 1 was so fucking long and arduous. I can only imagine what chapter 2 will be like. So glad you're here with us, Miles, for it. It's gonna be crazy.
No, it's really, really exciting, and I think it's going to be even more impactful just because we've gone through this period of waiting, and there's been this massive slowdown for months and months, or has felt like a year.
It has been a year.
It has been a year.
It's
Then everything is just going to go through the roof. It's going to be incredible. Yeah. And the fact that all these game cats are here, who have joined us along the way, it's really, really exciting. So, yeah, 60 days.
I know, 60 days. Sadukar 7th Legion with the £2 says, agree, Dead Ringer, the game cat, with his last tip. Says, we love you, even AJ. Dude, it's funny that just only a few months ago, people were like, why the hell are you doing 3 Gamescast a week? There's not enough news for 3 Gamescast a week. But now I can't imagine not doing it, right? It seems like maybe a silly move. But I think that, like, I think it's really helped, like, my friendship with you, Miles, and my friendship with Wes, and even my friendship with AJ. I think it's all deepened, and we've gotten to know each other better. Our camaraderie, our ability to do these shows without, like, planning for 3 hours ahead of time. It's been really good. We kind of know what to expect from each other at this point. And now everything's firmly in place and set in stone, just like I wanted it to be, for when shit gets exciting. I can't imagine not doing 3 a week, because I don't know, man. I could do 4 a week.
Yeah. What day would that go on?
I don't know.
Would it be another weekday?
We're out of odd days. No, I think
I was going to say,
you have to be like Saturday night or something. Like just kind of split it up.
Was it? So something I am gonna. This is something normally we chat about at the very end of the show, but we can talk about it here before 20 questions. Is sure. There are two things I wanted to do on my time off work, because I'm off work until the 3rd of January. One is rest, and then one is start planning like my content strategy for everything that I do that's not work related. And the fact I've been ill since Monday, I feel like was maybe destiny saying, nope, you're definitely resting for the first week. So I've just been in bed the whole time. Hasn't been much fun. But next week, I'm really looking forward to, just having some quiet time and thinking about, sort of the video content I can make for PSVR without Parole in terms of highlight clips and things like that. Funny enough, I still have a highlight clip of the VR Pigeons game, which I played earlier, Brian. I played it earlier today, and I have a bit of a sore neck. Have you played it, Brian?
Only the first level, because level 2 wouldn't start for me.
Like, as in, you couldn't unlock it, or it wouldn't start?
No, it wouldn't start. I'd get into it, and you look at the little thing that like there's like a blue button or something where you just kind of like do this or hit the button to start it. Man. It wouldn't highlight. And so I think I just got to fuck with my camera placement or something, because it seems to be working for everyone else. And I do want to review it, just because I think it would be a silly review that people would actually watch, just because it's so dumb.
Because it's just using your head tracking, you can do 360. Like, it's good tracking wherever you look. And I was really impressed by that. Like, that was not something I thought I was going to be impressed with by the game. But that aside, I'm really looking forward to just like focusing ahead with everything that we're going to do together over the next year and stuff. And I've also been very burnt out for a lot of reasons the last month. Yeah. And so, to be honest, the last 4 shows I've been on, I've not been my A game. You mentioned at the start of this that there was a bit of awkward silence. I think it's just that I'm a bit out of it still. So I'm looking forward to, regenerating and getting some good rest this holiday period, and then entering the new year ready to go again. Because sometimes you just need to have a quick pause and reset. And I hope that everyone, no matter what you're doing in your life, gets a chance in the holidays to just have a moment to take care of yourselves and just switch off and take stock and then go into the new year. Because one of the conversations I had on my live show, it was the theme a couple of weeks ago, was New Year's resolutions. Are they actually a good thing to have? And there's sort of 2 train of thoughts. One of them is, yeah, it's a great day it's a restart, it's a new year, new me. And other people are like, well, any day is a new me. I could make change whenever I want. And I think both those answers are correct. I actually believe in both. I believe that you can make change whenever you want. But there is something about a new year where I feel, because everyone's thinking about it, it is a good mental space to go in and go, no, these are the things that I want to achieve in the next year, and start focusing on that. So, PSVR is definitely a huge priority for me in 2023.
Nice. I feel you on the burnout. It's crazy when I have like a list of games, not only recent games, but also older PSVR games that I need to review, right? Just to kind of make myself feel like we're ending this generation and it's okay to move into the next one, because I feel like I've completed the things I want to complete, right? Sort of like closing the book on chapter 1 as it is, right?
Yes.
As we're calling PSVR 1 chapter 1 of Without Parole. And I look at the list of games and go, well, there's a reason I didn't review these games. Like I don't fucking want to, right? They're not exciting. They're not particularly fun. I struggle with the controls, and I struggle with even tracking these days. My new setup, like I have major tracking issues when I never did before. And so all those things, that's the friction. I'm like, I don't even want to be in VR all that much these days, right? There's too much friction, and the games are not impressing anymore. And that's helping to create burnout, even when I am getting plenty of rest, and I've got plenty of time to do this stuff. I just don't want to anymore. And I really hope that PSVR 2 like ushers in that wave of excitement, in a wave of amazing games. And you put that headset on, and you're just blown away every time, like we used to be when we first put on the PSVR headset. It changes everything. Like when you want to be in VR and you want to play every game you can get your hands on, that's what made me change the course of the channel from covering everything to PSVR 6 years ago. And I just want that again, right? I just want that feeling again. And I hope we all feel it so that we're all super passionate to be here, every day of the week, covering PSVR 2 stuff.
That's such a great point, Brian, and actually really resonated with me what you were saying about the fact that, the games we're playing now feel like we're just, we're playing it because it's a VR title and it's not something that we're racing. You put the headset on because you're like, I want to experience this new, fresh, experience, and that's becoming rarer and rarer as the headset got older. And I saw a clip this week on YouTube of I think it was a Stanford professor who was talking about dopamine levels and the feeling, the good feeling you get when you complete a task or something.
Yeah.
And he says that the big mistake we all make, and I'm probably going to butcher what his lesson was, but it's the idea that, okay, let's take a simple example, and this is just a life hack for everyone out there who's going through whatever they are in life. But if you are going to the gym to work out, but you don't enjoy going to the gym, what you try and tell yourself is, I'm going through this hard workout that I'm not enjoying because the result, once I hit my goal, that's going to feel amazing. And he says we end up living our lives about how the goal is going to make us feel good. And what it means is your dopamine levels get suppressed during the process. Mm-hmm. And then when it spikes at the end, it then drops off straight away. And then you feel again. And he says the mistake that we will make is we should learn to enjoy the process. You need to trick your brain that, if when you're working out, you're saying to yourself, yes, this is difficult, this is hard, but I'm enjoying this because I know that this is having an impact, and it's a way of increasing your dopamine in the moment. So although I'm talking about that from a sort of a life hack perspective, in terms of VR gaming, it's like, yeah, it doesn't help when we find the experiences aren't that enjoyable. We have to work even harder to try and be mindful that actually we're very privileged what we do to cover these games and be at the forefront of this. Yeah. But dude, it's going to be so much more of a ride when we have Horizon Call of the Mountain and at least 19 other titles that come with PSVR 2. And we're going to be constantly jumping in and just dopamine levels through the roof again and again. And then we're hitting our targets as well of creating great content, having great conversations, and continuing to build a community around VR, PlayStation, and PlayStation VR 2 that's going to carry on for, I don't know, another 5 to 8 years until the next headset peripheral comes out.
Right. Yep. Dude, Keen Bean in the chat says, what happens if we get the PSVR 2 and Brian realizes he lost the taste for VR? He only has eyes for Fortnite now. It's very true. It's very true. If that happens, you'll totally find out, right? And then I'll just be like, okay, this is now a retro video game channel. Like, we are only going to play 16 and 32-bit games now. But no, I'm super excited. And I think, honestly, if we had gotten something like Village on PSVR 1, that would have kept the burnout from kicking in, and it would have kept the complacency, the boredom. I don't know, like, it's just something special that with that same level of quality that we got from Biohazard all the way back in 2017, right? That was January or something of 2017. And we just really haven't gotten anything of that level. And so somehow I rode my excitement of Biohazard from 2017 through most of 2020, and it only started to flutter at that point. I was like, I just know we're going to get something else like that, And occasionally we got things that were close, but not quite, like Saints and Sinners, Wanderer, right? These were amazing titles. And so it kind of like helped me ride the wave a little bit longer. But I really, really hope I'm not going to get through. I'm promising you guys this right now. I'm not going to get through 6 years of PSVR 2 if we get a nice big wave at the beginning and then a bunch of Quest ports for the rest of the time, right? Or a bunch of shovelware. I just can't do it again. I can't, like I need to be passionate about the thing that I'm talking about. Otherwise it's fake. And you guys know when I'm being fake. I think you guys know me too well at this point. I think that's unfair to you, and it's unfair to me to be spending all this time talking about shit I don't care about. People ask, why didn't you cover Quest games? Why didn't you cover Steam VR games? It's because they're great, but I don't have the same passion about those. It's not like I'm like some kind of elitist or some kind of fanboy where I'm like, I only cover PlayStation stuff. No, I only cover stuff that I'm passionate about. or I cover the platform I'm passionate about and have to deal with a lot of shit along the way. So really, really hoping PSVR 2 renews that excitement. And I think it's going to be a really good time. If it's not, well, it's been fun. Dude, Sadukar 7th Legion with the 10 quid says, I lurk a lot, almost always on every stream. I watched your channel, built a fabulous fan base. Still lurking. I found you so many years ago. We played Spark. You kicked my ass, but I love you, Brian. I love you too, Sadukar.
I love Spark. I loved Spark.
Yeah, past tense necessary. Thank you very much. Now let's ride the game feline with a $10 tip. Says, Merry Christmas and all the other holidays too. Heart, best VR channel on YouTube. Thank you very much, Dallas Ryan. This is the last Gamescast before Christmas. Christmas Eve is tomorrow and Christmas is Sunday. Holy crap, man. The holidays snuck up on us big time. They're here. We're used to it. I was going to say something like, they're here, they're queer. Get used to it. But I was like, that doesn't sound right. I'm calling the holidays gay. I mean, they're kind of gay, right? They're happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm kind of gay for the holidays.
There we go.
I don't think that's true.
It's official.
Yeah. We got Nihilus trying the game feline. Nope, that's not right. That was the last tip. Alejandro with the $5 tip says, what if January 3rd gives us all the news about our launch games and all the PSVR 1 upgrades just in time before the sale ends?
They could literally, that is a possibility, because what they sometimes do at CS is they have one of the slides and then everyone analyzes it. So they could literally say, we've got 20 games, and he might just have a massive grid behind him of all those games. That just might be what happens.
Maybe. And then followed up with a PlayStation blog post listing all of those games in descriptions. Right? Yes. I hope so. This holiday sale is really good, man, but it's kind of crazy that there's games like Wanderer on it for $20 and no one knows if they should buy it or not, right? Very few cats out there are like, oh, I'm absolutely going to give them my $20 without knowing it's going to be on PSVR 2 with a free upgrade. Moss, I feel like Polyarch taught us a lesson with Moss. They said, hey, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Don't buy anything until you fucking know. Lesson learned. Yeah. Bad Robo says, we love you, fanboy. Thanks. I'm not sure that translated properly.
I love how Fortnite keeps coming up in the chat again and again, this game. Well, look, everybody, at my new little figure. Don't know if you can see this.
It's not in focus yet. Wait, what? Oh.
Yay! I need to fix my camera. So, there you go.
It's an amazing camera. I got to say this. People keep telling me I need to upgrade my camera, and I will. Maybe I'll do it for PSVR 2. The launch of PSVR 2 that week will be like a beautiful. It's fucking crazy, man. Crazy. See how many seasons ago was this? When this popped up on Fortnite? Because I've seen.
Well, this is a chapter 1, season 1 character.
Oh.
But I mean, he's always in the store. But the truck was actually on the island. Like in chapter 1, the very first one. Yeah. And I dress up as him because he's obnoxious and just horrific, really, like me. So I like being goofy as the Durburger.
Nice. I don't think we're quite done with the tips yet.
Let's keep going.
Genetic.
If you haven't tipped yet and want to, now's your chance. Get your tips in.
But just a tip.
We're going to start 20 questions.
just a tip. One at a time, please. Right? No DPs. Game Medic blasts cat for me. I said it way better earlier in the show. Sorry, bud. With a $2 tip says, Brian, did you ever try my Ice Realm VR in Dreams? I have not. Send me an invite or something to remind me, and I'll check it out. I will say I checked out a new game that Bad Robo's working on, and dude, Dreams is so fucking impressive in VR. Like, I mean, I know we say this all the time, maybe not enough recently, but when you play a game like Survive and I don't know, Manny Boxing VR and even Salmon Max and like a lot of the other kind of like not so great games that we've gotten over the last couple of years, you play those and you're like, oh man, like the movement doesn't feel good and the graphics are kind of like underwhelming and everything's slow paced. You have to listen to like all this dialogue and it was just all these little things that add up and make you go, I'm not enjoying this experience at all. And then you go into Dreams and you see these worlds especially when you're playing on PS5 and VR, right? When you see these worlds and they're crisp and clear and big and open, and like the second you drop in, they're so impressive. And it's just Dreams is giving creators way more tools than like official like Unity and Unreal are currently when it comes to VR stuff, right? For PSVR 1 specifically, Dreams is where you're getting some of the best looking games on the platform. It's crazy how good some of these games look. Like when people say something along the lines of like, "Oh, this looks like a Dreams game," that should be taken as a compliment these days, because the games in Dreams, so many of them look amazing. So shit's fucking crazy. That's all I gotta say. Get Dreams if you have PSVR, or even if you don't. It's great for flat screen stuff too. Silent Evil 999 with the $2 tip says, "Buy me Bone Storm or go to hell." Is Bone Storm the Simpsons game from a long time ago? That can't be it, is it? Buy me Bone Storm.
Have you played Bone Labs, Brian?
Sorry, I'm looking at Bone Storm. Bone Storm is the Simpsons game.
Is it?
That's crazy. Have I played what?
Is it Bone Labs? Isn't that the one that was really popular?
Bone Labs, I have not played.
I wonder if that will get a PSVR 2 release at some point. But I don't know.
I don't know. People will be mad at me for saying, but I don't really care. Like,
oh, that's fair enough.
I want every game to come to PSVR 2, like
sure.
Every Quest game, every PC VR game. But for me personally, like I've seen what those games are, and I'm like, man, I'm good. Like I think they're overrated. But I mean, I haven't played them, so I'll shut up. And we got Beard of Power 666 in the chat. Says, "My tip is well and truly in." That's good, because I was about to ask, is it in yet? Merry Christmas, all. Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas.
Miles, you ready for a little game of PSVR 20 questions?
I am.
Excellent, because I've already picked out a game. It's in my head.
Okay.
It's a PSVR game. Spoiler. It's a PSVR 1 game. Spoiler. Isn't it going to be great when the first question is going to be, is it a PSVR 2 game? It's going to be great.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, everybody in the chat, help Miles out. You guys only have 20 yes or no questions to figure out, and only 6 minutes on the clock, figure out what PSVR game I'm thinking of. I'm bringing up the clock right now. Are you ready, Miles?
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, on your mark, get Des. I love that. Go.
Does it have multiplayer?
No.
No multiplayer. Is it a puzzle game?
Yeah.
Puzzle game. Does it use analog sticks?
It does not use analog sticks.
Okay. Single player puzzle game with move controller. Or not necessarily, actually. Could just be the headset. I don't know, the pigeon game's kind of changed everything now. Hasn't it?
Yeah. It's true.
Because actually, to be honest, we always assume that it's not going to be one that just uses the headset.
You're running out of time.
I know.
You're already a minute down and only 3 questions deep.
I know. But there've been 3 solid questions. It's narrowed it down a lot. I'm just looking at what people are saying in the chat.
Famous last words.
Yeah, I know. It could be Tumble VR actually, because you don't use the sticks, even though it's on the DualShock. Does it involve moving blocks?
I mean, there's probably blocks that you can move, but no, okay. that's not the primary.
That's not the main mechanic. Yeah. Okay. Is it an escape room?
I would classify it as an escape room. Yeah, that's 5, by the way. And you're 2 minutes down.
Yeah.
Pat Robo says he's AJing himself.
Yeah, I'm really slow today. is... Oh, man. Does the game have VR in its title?
No.
Okay. Is this only on PSVR?
No. No, it's not.
Oh man. Would you regard it as a good game?
Yeah, I would.
Oh man.
3 minutes down, 3 minutes to go.
Does it have full locomotion?
No, it does not.
Not full locomotion.
MRI with the $2 tip says it's Dreadhalls.
Is it? Is it? Oh, Is it? Is it? Does it have? Is it a sequel or a prequel? Is it a game in a series? That's the question.
Yes, that's 10.
Yes. And is it done in a cartoony, artistic style?
Cartoony art style? I wouldn't say so. Maybe stylized, but no.
It's stylized, but okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say cartoony, no.
And do you play as a secret agent?
Ooh, what a good question. You do play as a secret agent.
Okay, and is it the second game of this series?
It is the second game of this series.
And is it I Expect You to Die Too, Brian?
Oh wow, not where I thought you were going with it at all. No, in fact, it's not. It's it is. It's I Expect You to Die Too, The Spy and The Liar by Shell Games. Holy crap! Yeah, dude,
made my heart drop there.
The chat was all over it there for a minute, man. Like
I know.
It took them a while to get there. Who was the first person? I think it was.
Someone said it again and again quite early on. Oh no, that was a different one. Room VR people.
I think Luigi's Meme Shack might be the first person I saw to say it, but somebody might have beaten him.
Oh, yeah, like said Luigi's Meme Shack said, "I Expect You to Die," the first one.
Yep. So,
but "I Expect You to Die 2" was in Stanbridge.
Good teamwork, everybody.
So, yeah,
good teamwork.
Well done, everyone.
Hell yeah! So here's what I've resorted to because I don't know what games Miles played and which ones he hasn't. So I'm stalking him today on PSN profiles and looked through your entire trophy list. And boy, oh boy, Miles, I wouldn't keep that shit public if I were you.
I do. I have no shame, man. I have no shame.
You don't have any shame, so I can reveal to the cat some of the shit that you've been playing.
Go on for it. I've shown you some of them. The Prairie game is absolutely terrible.
Pretty Bird.
Yeah.
Pretty Bird.
Not just the first one.
Pretty Bird 2.
Wait.
Pretty Bird 3. I mean, like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, are these shit just like, are these easy platinums? Is that what those are? They look like it.
You can complete them. If you're good at the Flappy Bird mechanics, which are pretty tricky, you could platinum them in a good, like, 3 minutes. Yeah, 3-4 minutes.
That's 3 or 4 minutes if you're pretty good.
Yeah.
If you're not, it might take 9 or 10 minutes.
Yeah. 9-10 minutes. Yeah.
Right.
No, I got no shame. No shame.
I don't have any shame either, man. I was a part of the Trophy Horror Wars with Podcast Beyond back in the PS3 era, and we would play anything we could get our hands on with easy trophies. Turns out we had no idea what was ahead of us because the easiest platinum trophies and games that were marketed only toward people like me back in the day are now plentiful. You can get for like $30, you can probably get about 30 platinum trophies.
I mean, I think there's been a rule that PlayStation have brought in the last month or two where they're realizing they're still, because when I actually looked at the not Flappy Bird, what was it, Pretty Bird or whatever it was, that there is there's like 20 different games with 5 copies of each, and it's done as a series, but it's just the same game with a different color background. And nah, you don't want the store filled up with that. Yep. Like, yeah, have the occasional games that are easy plats, but you don't want it where it's just that is what they're flooding the store with. It's not good for PlayStation. So yeah,
for sure. Slumvex in the chat says we want a Jeremy the Sofa King revival. Okay, so here's an update on Jeremy the Sofa King. Right, he sent me a message the other day saying that he finally got his PSVR 2 headset pre-ordered. I will tell you though, the reason he's not on the channel has nothing to do with me. I've been trying to get this guy back on the channel for ages, years actually. We started up a nDreams show that we were just going to like review games that people made in Dreams live and check that shit out. I think we did 1 or 2 episodes, lots and lots of technical problems, no surprises, and the reason we haven't kept up with Jeremy is because he is so fucking busy. Ever since he got his new job, a year or 2 ago, probably 2 years ago, he's been killing it at his new job, and so he just hasn't had time for the channel. But again, he's getting a PSVR 2 headset, and if there's any way I can get him back on camera, you know that I will, because we love that guy. And that's about it. Miles, what's happening over there on your channel, youtube.com/Miles?
So on Wednesday, we had my annual Christmas quiz. I was so unwell, but I managed to get through it. If you missed it, you can watch it on replay, and the quiz sheet is in the description of the video, so you can play along the quiz, even if you weren't watching it live. It's about an hour long. One of the music round is 5 Christmas carols that are played in reverse. 2 reasons. 1, it's an interesting quiz round. 2, it means I can't get copyright strikes because it's fine if you're playing them backwards. So it works. But for next Wednesday, it's the last Wednesday of the month. And so it's just a free-for-all Q&A. It's going to be an end-of-year hangout. So, yeah, if you are about 9 p.m. UK time, which is going to be 6 p.m. Eastern, which is 3 p.m. Pacific time, head on over youtube.com/Miles. Come hang out. It's always a good time. And yeah, nice, easy one to end the year on. So I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Well, I think it's time for us to get out of here, Miles. Go about our weekend. No promises on PSVR this week. I don't know if that's going to be a thing or not, depending on how much time all these holidays take up. But I will absolutely do my best if that's a possibility. But thank you, everybody out there. All the moderators, of course, who all year long have made sure that my job is as least stressful, less stressful, as minimal stress as possible. I don't know where the chat went, by the way. Like, this has been a new thing during these Gamescasts. It just slowly disappears throughout the course of the show. Hopefully I can get that fixed this weekend. But thank you to all the moderators. Thank you to everybody out there who helps the channel, like Sci-Fi Gamecat Henry, who puts timestamps into the show after it's over. Thank you to Jay Meow, who gets us up on podcast services of your choice. Yes, that includes Spotify. Make sure you listen to that thing. Give us some love. We are growing rapidly in the ranks. Crazy enough. PSVR Gamescast Live is getting up there in numbers. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, everybody who watched the show. Thank you, everybody who tips. Thank you, everybody keeping the lights on, not just here, but over on patreon.com/withoutparole Thanks, everybody who helped out and helped Miles get through 20 questions. Everybody who chatted during the show. And, of course, all of you sat back and watched the show and didn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and we love you just as much. What say you, Miles? Let's get out of here.
Love you all, Game Cats. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a great Christmas. Also, I know this time of year isn't the easiest for everyone. So if you're one of those people that are struggling, all the love and respect for you out there. I hope you are able to make the most of it. So yeah, much love.
Enjoy. Join our Discord. Lots of cats to hang out there. If you need some assistance, just reach out and touch someone. Meow. love that nothing works during the entire show. The chat is slowly disappearing, and then finally completely gone off the screen. And then a second before, we played the outro credits, everything came back and just started working. It's like, oh, thanks for working now that the show is over. Tom says, "Get better soon, Miles."
Thank you. I'm the best I've felt. I still feel a bit rough, but hopefully some good sleep tonight, and I'll be sorted.
Ian Stanbridge says, "Remember, guys, keep the baby punching to a minimum." I like when people are here for the whole show, start to finish.
Yeah,
right. I'll bringing it all the way back around. What a great way.
I don't know what's more concerning for those that hear the baby punching right at the get go, or those that just find out about it now. Either way, it's not good.
Sidecar 7th Legion says, "Brian, can we play with you on Fortnite? Only if you want to lose. If you want to win, you should play with Miles. Miles is like very, very good, especially compared to me. But yeah, I'll be happy to play. I think I'm going to jump on shortly, actually. Just if I don't know the best way to contact me, Sidecar. If you're on Discord, make sure you just send me a DM or something with your screen name so I know who it is that's trying to play. Yeah, send me an epic friend request. That might help. But always down to play Fortnite. Love you guys. Merry Christmas. Meow.